just yeah, I just enabled the mic on, and mic works fine. I just enabled my mic on the YouTube. I kind of wanted to make it so it's not too confusing, because if you're watching the YouTube at the same time that you're in TeamSpeak, you're going to need to mute the YouTube. Good, good. Oh, you know what? You're right. Man, that does suck. So I guess you're gonna have to mute TeamSpeak, and then crap, this sucks. I'm gonna have to, let's see, let's do desktop audio. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can get this right. Let's try to get it to where people get into TeamSpeak so that they can use the chat. But then you would have to mute the sound on TeamSpeak and use the sound from the YouTube. That way it's synced up with the video. So let's try this.
I think it's synced up now.
Is it?
All right, so real quick, I want to test just the YouTube sound. So if you listen to YouTube, let's see if it's synced up the audio, and you should be able to hear people talking in TeamSpeak on the YouTube. So mute TeamSpeak, and then somebody go ahead and talk on TeamSpeak.
Nah, it's at least a 15-second delay.
Yeah, I got about 15 seconds.
Wait, you guys have a delay?
Yeah, we hear him on Teams first, and then he doesn't start speaking on YouTube for another 15 seconds.
I don't have a delay. That's weird.
Have you tried refreshing the Chrome browser?
Yeah, there's definitely a delay, and to fix it, right now, somebody needs to confirm for me. If you mute the sound on the TeamSpeak, just watch the YouTube, you should be able to hear other people on the TeamSpeak as well as my mic. And I'm going to type and talk at the same time. So here we go. Testing out the audio sync. And going to need somebody to also talk on TeamSpeak.
Yeah, that strategy works if you mute TeamSpeak, but the questions will come to you as a delay.
And I'm okay with actually it'd be fine, because everything's going to work out. If you watch just the YouTube right now, you should be able to hear people on the TeamSpeak as well as me on my mic without me keying up. So this should be okay. Can someone go ahead and ask a question on the TeamSpeak? Yeah, this is kind of effed, but what I was trying to accomplish was keeping people on Whalepool without pulling them away. It's kind of confusing to be able to keep people on a particular, I guess, site or spot without pulling them away.
Stealing their traffic, how dare you?
Yeah, I know, right? For my own selfless uses where I don't sell anything and can't make any money off of.
Hey, you have an ad before you live stream, liar.
Is there an ad, or is it my Coin Life thing, or?
I don't even know, but there was an ad before. Like when I clicked your YouTube stream, it had an ad.
Oh no, that's just YouTube. They changed their policies anyway. You gotta have 400 or 4,000 hours worth of view time before you can make money on YouTube anymore.
Oh, YouTube is making money off you.
Yeah, they always do that. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. It seemed like it was working okay. Not too many people were complaining at the beginning of the video, but I don't know. We'll have to figure out how do we sync the audio and everything.
I get the same with normal Whalepool channel, so I just listen and then mute the view.
Can I ask a question about the super trend?
Yep, go for it.
So on the if you're using an hourly chart, what settings would you recommend? The 2 or the 3?
The 2 and 3 option is just how often do you want to see the flips? How meaningful are the flips? So a lot of times if you look at a 1 hour chart and you use the super trend, you're either going to see too many flips and it would screw you up, because by the time you say you're going to go short or go long because the trend flipped, it goes back the other way. So let's take a look at an example of that. So here's an example on the 1 hour chart, and you'll notice that we've got a green super trend. It's going up. It flips the super trend, but then it turns around and goes back the other way. And then it flips the super trend, and it turns around and goes back the other way. And it flipped it here, but 2 hours later, you're going back up. This right here is too tight. And this will happen regardless. I mean, when you have up and down too quick, you're going to get this anyway. But if you want to like look overall, look in your whatever time frame you're trading, just kind of look back in history and see how the super trend performed, and kind of change your settings so that you try to get it more times than not. You're going to have losing trades. You're going to get stopped out. You're going to decide to exit. But what you want to do is make sure that that doesn't happen all the time. Oh, excuse me. That doesn't happen all the time.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, this 1 minute chart is really depressing right now.
It looks like all downtrend, and the RSI is right in the middle, so I think we're going down, right in the clouds, using all the indicators.
Bitcoin Cash doesn't seem to be going down at all.
Oh my god, Bitcoin Cash is doing really good today.
I hope nobody was swing earlier in the other chat when they said it might hit $4,000 today.
For Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah.
Jesus. What did it open at, they?
And what is it on right now?
12? No, I'm sorry, 13.
Like 700
Jeez.
euro.
I got some funds trapped when it was like $2,700.
I mean, the resistance on for Bitcoin Cash on GDAX right now is pretty strong.
What I always do when I'm looking at Bitcoin Cash or maybe Litecoin or Ethereum or anything else that follows Bitcoin strongly.
Testing.
Your mic works fine. I basically analyze the US dollar to Bitcoin the chart, and then everything else is gonna have a significant correlation, and you can look at the counter trends that happen whatever Bitcoin is doing.
Exactly. All three of them on GDAX move pretty much identical to Bitcoin. So you can, and there's actually sometimes like a 1-2 minute delay before the dump happens. On Bitcoin, it'll happen maybe a minute after on Litecoin or Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash. So that's what I've kind of been trying to look out for.
Yeah, and Bitcoin is just much the fundamental standard for crypto as far as taking real world market analysis understandings and applying it to this scenario. It's, I think, the best thing to look at, not like, oh, Verge, let's see what it's going to do. And if you know how to cash and whatever, go ahead. But I mean, I see a lot of people who are going directly to these small altcoins and trying to learn based on that. That's kind of waste a lot of time.
There's a YouTube channel that I watch sometimes. It's live Bitcoin trading. In the chat, I seen some guy bought $50,000 worth of Tron at 30 cents.
Nice.
Hey, Boniface, what was that indicator you had at the bottom with the red and green buy signals? Like a RSI chart. What was the name of that?
It's based on the TDI, Traders Dynamic Index. The B's and the S's are something I made that isn't available, but if you go to my charts on TradingView, you can just copy and paste it onto your charts. You just can't see the code.
Litecoin is not doing too great today.
So is there actually going to be a fork of Litecoin, or was it just bullshit?
What I'd like to really figure out is why I can't right click on my backgrounds on my charts today.
By the way, I downloaded that Blabber. Again, it's awesome. So you can see everyone who's chatting. It pops up in the chat box.
Yeah, in here it might not be so great because there's so many people clicking their mics, but it definitely in the other chat where you're trying to figure out who's giving out what information so you know who to kind of pay attention to next time. It's really helpful.
Can I ask you a question about someone who would be like starting out? If you had like say $2,000 out of the four main coins, like the ones on GDAX, like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin, what would you predict would be the best gains, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so we got a couple. We got some echo on somebody. I think Sick Charts. Just mute yourself, Sick.
Yeah, it's sick.
There he goes. He got it. So you were saying one more time. Ask that question one more time.
Yeah, if for example you had $2,000 and in the current market as a new investor, out of the four coins on GDAX, which one would you say would give the best gains in returns for a buy and hold at a cheap price?
Well, I think everybody will have their own opinions about when you start asking questions about what coin should I put money into. Everybody's going to have their opinion of what to do. Me personally, if anybody came up to me off the street and said, hey, don't you mess with that whole Bitcoin stuff? What should I do with some money? I'd say, well, buy some Bitcoin. I wouldn't necessarily talk about any other coins. That's just my preference, that I wouldn't tell someone that's totally uneducated about cryptocurrency to go put money into like some sort of alt crap coin or something, you know. I just let them stick with Bitcoin because that's what they're going to see in the news. That's what they're going to hear people talk about and so forth.
But see, it also depends on your trading technique and your investment style. Like if you're interested in day trading, you might want to do like Litecoin or some other miner or altcoin. But versus if you're interested in long-term investment, you might want to do a Bitcoin, and depending, especially if some people are saying it's going to hit 50,000 this year.
Thanks.
But hey,
I got a question about Litecoin versus Bitcoin. I noticed that the Litecoin chart pretty much is entirely dependent on what's going on with Bitcoin, and I had to kind of watch what Bitcoin was doing to get any kind of results on what Litecoin was doing.
I'll let someone else that maybe trades Litecoin give a little thing, but I'll just say that I think pretty much all the various cryptocurrencies, other than pumping and dumping and the manipulation, they all kind of track with whatever Bitcoin's doing, is my own personal belief.
They almost identically track to what Bitcoin's doing. I mean, particularly Litecoin and Ethereum, regardless of how well they're doing, it's up to Bitcoin what to do. And you can basically track exactly what your next move can be from what Bitcoin does, because it's got maybe a 1-2 minute delay before a big massive dump does happen, on GDAX anyway.
I mean, you hear about those freak situations when like one coin, like when the big crash happens, like a couple coins like went up when everything else went down, and you hear about those freak situations. But usually when one like Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down. But usually like it's very small trend that everything else doesn't get impacted when Bitcoin doesn't get impacted.
I think overall things track. I mean, you can look at like a big daily chart or something, and you look at Bitcoin, you look at every other coin that's like Litecoin, Ethereum, and all that kind of stuff, and you'll notice they have the same movements up and down. You probably won't ever find a chart where Bitcoin is going down, but some other crypto coin is like going straight up. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I
What do you
lost a
guys make of this
shitload. I
price
have to
action
make it
just
back.
now?
Sorry.
Yeah, when talking on the mic, it's best to either keep going or stop what you're doing. It's like one of those things where you gotta either take control and keep talking or back off.
It's all or nothing. You gotta do it like the president does it.
Oh shit! How does he do it?
Is it possible to have any kind of gains just using like GDAX without looking at any of these crazy charts with all these wiggly lines?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Like, for example, you set your day markers, you look at the opening and closing, and you base your markers based on that. For example, you see where the market opened, you see where it closed, and you pretty much say your buys, like, you set, for example, you want to sit your buy at 8,200. And you buy at 8,200 in the morning, and then you set your sell at 8,600, and pretty much that's you hold on. For example, I bought midday yesterday at 8,150, and I held on and held on, had a big dip that went down to 7,600, and I was at the point I was down close to 10% of my portfolio. And I was like, should I just dump it and rebalance everything out? And then I went through the night, and then I set my sell at 85.50, and I woke up this morning and I was up 7%.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to have fancy lines.
Yeah, you're just gonna hold on. You gotta go how to just analyze the buy and sell trends and see where a little bit of, by not looking at fancy sell trends like we're talking about, and just kind of like look at buy and sells, and opening and closings.
Yeah, I kind of bought into this without looking at any charts or anything. I just FOMO'd in at 17,000, and now I'm down all this money.
Ooh, that's rough.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so
I like also looking at breakouts areas. Like we have a support line that's been going from pretty much all of this short bull run, and it seems to be bouncing off it, and it's kind of my indicator for now, at least, if we're going up or down.
Support and resistance lines is all you got to do. And if we're looking at this 1 hour chart here, this is all you have to do as far as figuring out when should you buy, when should you sell. Just straight lines. All you got to do is go to TradingView here. Go to your left side over here where the little line is, the second icon. And there is a horizontal ray.
Rip Crosby.
And all you have to do on the horizontal ray is pick a point in time where it looks like it bounced. So like see how back here it literally hit twice right at this price level and bounced up. So if I use that horizontal ray and then I pick that point and then click one time. And now if you look in the future, you notice that this particular line has been important. It bounced right here. These are long wicks. It still went way up here. Wicked into here, it went up to there. It hit here, it went up to there. Perfect example of, well, what should you do when the price reaches this point again? Buy or sell? Buy. If you even go here, and this is pretty much about where it had touched twice before, I tend to think when a price touches multiple times in a short amount of period, it's probably going to fall through. But let's just say you went long here. In this particular case, because of the overall market trends and stuff, this was already kind of a lower price point compared to where it had been at. I mean, this is literally how many percent off of the top. This is 35%, and in the cycles of Bitcoin, a 40% pullback from an all-time high is a typical thing. So if this is already at a 40% mark, you know that this is a pretty good, strong support line. Would you rather be selling here or would you rather be buying here?
And that support line on top, how did you come up with that?
So this line here obviously is, I drew further forward, but literally all you got to do is, this is another way. This horizontal lines are good support resistance lines. Same thing can happen up here. Let's just say like right here, we dipped down, we went up. Let's put another line. And then if we look forward, it's another important line that here it hit, retracted, came up here, went a little bit past it, but came back down. So when you hit this price again, are you wanting to buy or are you wanting to sell? Probably wanting to sell if you think you're in a down market. So same thing. These kinds of lines are more like a trend line. These are support resistance lines. This is more of a trend line. And you draw these by connecting peaks and valleys. So we can draw a bottom one just like this right here. This will be the trend line little icon thing tool right here, trend line. This one here, you got to hit 2 points, and we'll just pick the bottom of this one right here. Actually, and so you pick 2 points in time that you've already seen where the price has touched. So it touched here and it touched here. Now, if we were right here, we're trading knowing that this is probably a good support line. This is a good resistance line. And if we were somewhere here, we're probably going to want to sell when it's here, and we're going to want to buy when it's down here. So same thing. We got to sell here, sell there. Those are kind of in the middle. Definitely want to buy there. And then we're moving up. So where do you want to sell at? Right where my freaking yellow sell box sign is at. So I already put this box back when we were over here. These areas here kind of did with this 1, 2, 3, 4 thing, which is all jacked up. It's just me to kind of have a guide of where I'm headed. And I put this yellow box here, and sure enough, that yellow box lies just with those straight coming down. So this is where I'm looking to sell at. Unless we really just FOMO out of this, and this is the very bottom, then yeah, we should see something extend all the way up here. And maybe even touch right here. That's why we got this other line up here. Maybe the price comes all the way up here. But when it does, am I going to FOMO and go long? No, I'm probably going to want to, if I'm already long, take my profit and wait to see what happens. Or if I'm ready to get in the market, I'm going to wait to see if it comes back down from here. Very simple tools.
And by the way, for the person who was asking how they can make money without kind of looking at all those fancy charts, you can pretty much just look at any $100 point. For example, when the market is at, let's say, 8,200, and you want to buy at that point in time, because if you think about it, it's pretty low. And then you bought, for example, to make it simplicity's sake, at that point, we bought 1 Bitcoin. You hold on until it's 83.5. And you hold on to that point until it's 83.5. You sell it on GDEX with a limit sell, and once again you hold on. And then if you expect the market to drop again, for example 82.5, you set your buy at that and keep going at that point on. Like I said, it depends on your trading techniques, but that's how you can honestly just keep making some passive money without analyzing it too much. I mean, that's how I do it when I first started out.
Sounds simple enough.
You guys leverage your positions.
Leverage. I think it's probably that's a good question. I don't know how many people in the chat box here, how many of you guys are actually trading on margin right now?
Hey, real quick, big price action going down on Bitcoin.
It's really depressing. Don't even talk to me about that.
We're still just ranging sideways here. Nothing much is happening.
But that's the thing, is I look at the resistance on GDEX right now.
Yeah, so this is the power of people trading on different time frames of when someone's yelling it's dropping and then it's moving $100 or something like that. It's like it's dependent on what time frame they're trading on. I think we're looking for a pullback. I mean, I mentioned this earlier that even on the 1 hour chart, I got a strong sell signal and we're tapping up right on the 200 SMA. So we could easily see a pullback at this point. But I'm still holding on to the whole 9,200 area where my yellow sell box is at. With me being long at 8,500 and we're only at like 8,200, there's no reason for me to close out my position at this point.
I got my day sell at 450.
But if you think it's going to go to 9,200, you would still wouldn't recommend for me to buy in right now, right? Because it's not such a wise jump, right?
It depends because it can just keep going. I mean, right now, it might not go to 9,200 tonight.
Yeah, I don't know that it's gonna pop up at what time period right now. I can't nail it down just yet, but I'm still looking forward to the next couple of days that it would continue to move up.
I personally don't think it's going to go to 9,200 tonight at least.
But I heard people say that they think it's going to go down to $5,000. Is that possible?
Honestly, I don't think it's going to drop down that much anymore. I think we're beyond that point. I mean, if anybody else wants to chime in, they're more than welcome to, but I think, especially with the Senate hearings we've been having, I don't think there's a major reasoning behind that.
And I think a lot of the guys in the other room up there in the trading dojo probably have better ideas on different price points and stuff.
I think we'll get up to the 9,000, 9,200 range. So I think anytime you can get something to drop down to one of the support levels, 8,100, even lower, that might be a good time to buy. And then just set a stop limit below that, whatever your comfort level is, and sit and wait. But I'm pretty confident it's going to bounce off of that. Then we're probably going to correct down and test new levels, everything I've been looking in on my charts.
What do you think? We're going to go to 9,000 tonight?
I don't know if it's tonight, but in the next couple days, for sure, pretty sure.
I could see us going to 87 tonight.
I think the best case for it to go to 92 is it's come up and sat here and not dropped.
If you've noticed anything around that $8,000 support level, it bounces off of that. So I think anything that you buy around that level is going to be a good buy in the very short term, the next day or two.
I'll be back in a couple. I gotta drop some stuff off in my post office for another company.
Any other charting type questions? Pretty much, I've been streaming for an hour now, so see if we have a couple more questions here, and then we can wrap it up and head back into the dojo.
Can you give a quick explanation of the SMA line people keep talking about? I know that's like a real noob question, but
well, that's why that's why this channel was here, to ask those kinds of beginner type questions or whatever. Because
I was gonna ask that too.
Yeah, because a lot of people get annoyed, the guys that have been trading for a long time, and of course you guys don't have mic privileges up there either, so you're kind of stuck in between, kind of having to ask in the chat box and stuff. But yeah, SMA. If someone says MA or SMA, is the same thing. Simple moving average is the moving average. It's just all it's looking at is an average of all the prices over a period of time. So the 200 SMA is the period, so it's 200 candles, and it is more of the mainstay of an overall of what the market is doing. Is it in a bear trend or a bull trend? So let's look at, like, say, the 4 hour. Let's look at a 1 hour. And let me clean up this stuff here. So the magenta line here is the 200 SMA. And the typical sayings based on using moving averages, or if the price is above or below, you would go with whatever side that it's on. So in the case that the price is below the SMA, you want to take shorts. You want to sell. So as you're coming down, you want to go with the trend and only take sells. Now, at some point, obviously, that's going to ruin you, right? You got to know when it's starting to change, or when it's at a high point, you want to sell from that point, not start selling down here, right? So there's always the thing of where you got to kind of have some experience in how price moves and so forth. But essentially, that's what moving averages do. They kind of give you the overall trend of what's been going on.
What did that SMA cross at the peak around 20,000? Was it around 17?
Yeah, so it looks like it was around 18,000 maybe. Yeah, 17.9. So if you literally, like, it's a trend line, moving average, it's a trend, right? So when people start talking about, oh, well, I trade the 5 minute, I trade the 15 minute, I'm in and out of trades all the time, blah, blah, blah. If you just like went long when the last time that the price crossed the 200 SMA, you'd be like 2-3 years ago or whatever, and you'd be like a millionaire, right? Last time that the price crossed the 200 SMA, the price of Bitcoin was 7,000. So if you went from 7,000 to 20,000, you pretty much made about 300% in a couple of months. Like actually 1 month. In 30 days, you would have made 300% on your money if you just bought when the price crossed the 200 SMA and you sold when it crossed back down.
Yeah, you can do some good swing trades that way. They're longer term, they're not day trades. But it's a good way to, if you just want to kind of get your feet wet, it's a good way to get into it and just kind of watch that line. Is it up or down below it? And you can usually tell what's good about the, I mean, just look, every time it crosses, something happens.
I mean, this trade would have been 32 days at 191%. So in 1 month, you would have tripled your money. Or you'd have triple of what you started with, yep.
Although I wouldn't have probably exited until it crossed a little, so I wouldn't have got the tip. But yeah, it still would have made a lot.
So the market always kind of wants to go back towards that line, right? So that's why it shifts in that direction.
Say one more time about it shifting direction.
The price of Bitcoin is always trying to get closer to the SMA line, and whether you're below it or above it, you're always trying to get closer to it.
Well, it's an average. So as the price moves up, so does the average. If the price shoots completely straight up like it did here, the average is only going to move just a little bit. So you see that the average only moved just a small amount, but the price took off. So it's just an average. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it continues to go to the average.
But if you're way, way, way above the SMA line, that means like any moment now it's going to start going down, right?
So in the way you say any moment now, so at what point during this 1 hour chart you say, well, any moment now, it's really far away from the SMA, it's going to come down. Oh, look at that, it's way far away from the SMA. Should you sell here? It's like you'll just keep killing yourself going, oh, it's way far away, it's way far away. You never know. You never know where it's topping out until it finally tops out.
So you don't sell as it's going up. You sell once it starts going down.
In Bitcoin, I think that holds actually more true than what you think it does. It really happens that way in Bitcoin because Bitcoin pretty much over time has only gone up. Now in stocks, you have ups and downs, and it gives you like you can look back in time and say, oh, there's the last time it peaked out, right? In Bitcoin, if you keep looking back at the last time it peaked out, it's way lower than what it is today. like today's price now is still like 500% higher. Oh, I'm sorry, 1,000% higher than what it was 1 year ago. You know what I mean? So when we go up, Bitcoin is very hard to tell where will it top out at. It's pretty easy in Bitcoin to tell where it may bottom out at because you can look back in time and see where the price and what it did before. So it's easier to tell where it bottoms out as opposed to where it's going to top out because there's no precedent. It continues to make new highs.
Right.
Moving averages, some popular ones are 200. There's the Fibonacci numbers like 35, 55, 7. I don't know what the other numbers are. But yeah, there's just different kinds of moving averages. There's strategies out there where there's like 10 moving averages on your chart, and they kind of make like a wave going across your chart whenever the waves tighten up and twist and blah blah blah. So there's all kinds of stuff out there. But you'll constantly notice that moving averages lag a lot more than any other indicator. So just like here, we can see the price tapped 20,000 right here in December, and it didn't actually cross the 200 SMA till it got down to like 17.5. So there's a lot of lag in that type of a moving average.
Wow,
Did you
Cash is going for it again.
Did you see that heat signature map that Dodge posted before?
Let's take a look at it. Where's the is there a link in the chat box?
Yeah, I'll post it. 1 second.
Maybe that guy was right. Maybe Bitcoin Cash will go for $4 grand tonight.
The order flow heat map. Do you see that?
Yep. Is it fuzzy on your screen also, or is it, because I remember I looked at this before and it looked like it was all blurry. I wasn't sure if it was the video or if it was your actual screen.
It's fuzzy by me also. You could put it on 1080p. It gets a little bit better, but I don't know why it's fuzzy like that. I think it's supposed to be like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't quite understand it. I don't know what I'm looking at.
Well, so it's supposed to show all the limit orders and the market orders that are going on GDEX, and it kind of gives you an idea of where the support level is and where the resistance levels are.
And this represents number of coin, like that. See where the yellow stripes are here and the red stripes are up here. Does that mean the number of orders, the number of coins?
That's showing you like how hot it is. The more coins, the darker red it is.
Okay, coins. So it represents coins.
Yeah, coins.
Gotcha. So definitely whatever level this is, and I'm guessing it coincides with these numbers to the right hand side. So at 8,000, we've got like somebody's got like a stack of coins sitting there at 8,000.
Right. So that's a support line.
Well, until they take it away.
Well, actually, yeah, that's a resistance line.
Well, at bottom, below price is support, above price is resistance.
I was looking on the top.
But yeah, I'm not a big order book guy, but I mean, you'll find that this order book will change whenever the price starts to change. So let's just say this price started to fall from where we're at, and it started to get close to that 8,000 mark. More than likely, you'll notice that those walls will change, that those numbers will come down, because they're just kind of wanting to help push up price. They're just playing the whole order book game. But we are moving up by the way.
I just bought that there on Litecoin.
So you're the reason it's going up.
Yeah, see, I put my order in at 81.30 and it didn't hit it. It just started going up.
We'll put some more orders in below the price. I've never heard of the Fisher Transform promo byte, so I have no idea what to tell you on that. Fisher Transform.
What part of America are you from, mate?
I'm in Texas. I'm Dallas, Texas.
Did you watch the Alex Jones Infowars thing today?
I've seen enough Alex Jones that I knew I didn't really want to watch it, but I enjoy hearing what he does and what he says. I enjoy on YouTube the people he has, you know, on the channel that go out and talk to like all the SJW people and stuff. I don't particularly like listening to Alex Jones himself too much.
That the accent you've got is kind of similar to Alex Jones's accent. Me and my girlfriend always thought it sounded a bit like Beetlejuice.
By the way, Ghost, if you want on your mic, it tends to get all crackly when you get loud. If you want to just tone down the decibels on your options on your mic, just slide the volume down just a little bit and keep the level meter in the green area, and it'll sound better.
I think you sound normal.
Yeah, it blew out. It's like zzz, 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 that when you get a little loud, it overdoes it.
I got a question.
Where's the volume setting? Sorry, where's the volume setting?
Tools, options, and then capture, and then you'll notice there's like a test, and you want to kind of keep the little metered like in the green area, green yellow. You'll probably find that yours is in the red.
How come you're giving out all this advice? Not that I'm not appreciative. It's very much appreciated, but, you know.
Because I'm bored and have no friends. No. I mean,
You said like a true skeptic from the East Coast, because you're definitely from the East Coast somewhere.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm from New York. We don't even say hello to each other on the elevator, you know? So it's kind of like, oh, free advice. You're helping people out. What's going on here?
Yeah, what's the catch?
What are you talking about? Every tourist I ever see always says, oh, they're so friendly in New York. I was like, wait a second. It's like people make jokes all the time about how rude and people, you know, like F off or whatever and honk their horns in taxis and stuff. That can't all be false. It has to be stereotypically true.
It is true. It is true. New York is a very egotistical, very selfish place. Everybody only cares about themselves.
Well, and it's funny because I think that's human nature. We really just, the most important person to each of us is ourselves. But I think in different cities and different areas, the way of life, it tends to get a little bit more pronounced. But yeah, here down in the South, people are typically more friendly, I guess.
Yo, if you had a stroke, God forbid, on the streets of Manhattan, people just leave you on the street, like they wouldn't even help you out.
Yeah, they'd be kind of like this with their phones going, oh, look at that, look at that.
Yeah, look at that guy on the floor shaking. What's wrong with him?
Let's stream it. But no, I've done Facebook, live streams, trading Bitcoin like 4 years ago, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago. And then kind of got out of the Bitcoin thing, unfortunately, and cashed out. So there was the woulda, coulda, shoulda. So I would have been retired when we hit 20,000. I could have just retired and said screw it. But live and learn. Hopefully I'll catch it on this next run up.
Hey, at least you didn't buy 2 pies up for 10,000 Bitcoins.
That's right. Yeah, I think I on my Facebook page, if you just do Facebook Bonavest Show, I have a little QR code for a wallet. Hey, if you feel like throwing a Satoshi or something's great. In actuality, I cashed that account out a while back. Can't remember when, for a couple of grand. And so it was like back when I was doing these shows, I stopped doing them because it took a lot of time to live stream for hours. Like right now, I'm sitting at an hour and a half. So sometimes we'd sit and talk. Me and a bunch of other guys would talk about Bitcoin, kind of like Whalepool does, for like 8-9 hours straight on a live stream. And it was just a lot of time, and there's no money in it. The YouTube doesn't pay anything. So it was one of those things where it's kind of getting tiring. Well, I think that wallet got up to like 0.35 or 0.5 or something like that. So when you cash it in at 20,000, it's like $7,000-$10,000. It's like, hey, that wasn't too bad. So every little Satoshi will count. So feel free to chip a Satoshi in or something.
Have you thought about starting a Steam It account? And you get tipped on that.
I don't know. And like I said, I don't put too much effort into it. I mean, I give some free help with whatever little knowledge that I have. I don't mind giving it out or whatever and help somebody else out. There's a lot of people that have been seeing me streaming saying, hey, man, I remember watching you like 3-4 years ago and you got me into Bitcoin and stuff. I was like, cool. That works.
I really appreciate your help. been self-learning for like the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks now, maybe. But it's good to hear what you're saying is matching with some of the things I'm figuring out. So I still have to keep learning, but thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm straight up YouTube and Google educated. I mean, I pretty much use that for everything.
Yeah. It's really hard to, well, I mean, for me, I guess, I mean, I've been interested in this since Bitcoin came out, and trading in general, even before that. It's just, I figured, well, this is really complicated. Screw this. I think I want to pay one of those signal services. No, wait, screw that too. And then now I see, like, oh, it is as simple as a lot of these things are saying. It's very emotional, and you need to, you know, learn the basics. And there's a style for everyone, basically, for how they'll trade.
Mic check.
It's good.
I have a question about.
Go ahead and just talk.
Is that my volume problem solved?
Get really excited about something.
It's crashing.
Yeah, no, it's still kind of. When you do the test, does it not go zzz when you start to talk really loud?
Yeah, it's the volume indicator I'm having a little bit of trouble with. Once set to a lower volume, it keeps resetting it, zeroing itself after it hit apply. So I'm not entirely sure how to change it. I know it might sound stupid, but
It's your shit headset.
It could be that.
It's a microphone through the laptop. That's maybe the problem. I'll maybe back off the microphone until I get something better.
It's not that bad. It's just, I guess when it reaches peak sensitivity, it goes overboard.
You know, I just noticed that in TeamSpeak there is no volume for your mic. I was mistaken, so you'll probably have to go, if you use Windows, you can go into your recording settings and look for your mic and adjust the volume in there. I think they call it level, and you'll just lower the level down to like 50, 60.
Yeah, you can right click on your volume icon on your taskbar, and you can find the device, and you can configure it.
Do you have a Windows machine?
Yeah, it's just looking at the settings now.
Yeah, that's where it's at. I was going to try to pull it up on the screen.
Like if you hit properties, then you can change the levels. Like if you see microphone boost on, it might be like too high. You could drop it back like maybe like a little bit. It's usually not the microphone level, it's the microphone boost. They're two separate options. One's amplification, one of them is just overall the volume that's being raw recorded. That boost is the amplification, which sometimes can be way too much.
So somebody did have a question a second ago.
Any better?
Sounds great.
Yeah, I had a question. Can you hear me?
Yep, go for it.
So my question is about picking entry points. Looking at the super trend, you know, obviously there was a good entry point, you know, a few hours ago. But if you just log in now and you're looking at the chart, does green mean go, or do you need to, you know, look at other indicators? I mean, it's green right now, but the good entry point was a few hours ago.
Right, so if you're looking at like just the super trend, like pretty much that's all you're going to look at is the super trend to decide when to get in or get out. Is that what you're talking about? Just using the super trend as an indicator?
Yeah, so someone who's not day trading all day long, I have my opportunities to check, and I come in, I look at this now, and I say, okay, I missed a good entry point a few hours ago. Is this still a good time, or that kind of thing?
So I'd definitely look at, if you're using just a super trend indicator, that's not going to necessarily pick you entries and exits except for when it flips, right? So just like you said, it flipped a few hours ago, that was your time to get in, right? Or try to make an entry. So when you're starting right now in the middle, and if all you had was the super trend, you're not going to know, are you in the middle of a big trend or are you towards the end of it? You wouldn't know, right? The only thing you could do is if you're only using the super trend, go to a smaller time frame. So on the left, I have a 1 hour, and you're saying, well, should I get in now? And you had nothing else on this chart other than the super trend. What you want to do is go over to the 15 minute and start looking at where you're at here. and look for a flip in the smaller time trend. So in other words, let's say you were at this point on the left-hand side, this dip in the 1 hour, and you said, well, I don't know if I'm at the end of it or that was the top right there. What should I do? Flip over to the 15-minute and look for a flip. So now you're on the 15-minute and it flipped here and you're in at 7,700. And you ride up about a 12% increase over 5 hours. So that would be the way to say, okay, if I'm in the middle of a 1 hour trend and it says I'm up, go to the smaller time frame and look for a flip. So if we were at the peak here and I don't know if it's going to keep going up or not, come over to the 15-minute, I'm here, and I notice it starts to come down a little bit and it flips, and I just wait. Now it flips to the positive side. So now what you're playing on is the smaller uptrend on the bigger uptrend. That's the way, when you hear people talk about buying bounces or buying the dips and things like that, selling the bounces and buying the dips, this is what they're talking about. Notice how it's a top here and a bottom here on the small time frame. So buy the bottoms of the small time frame when you think that you're in an uptrend on the bigger time frame.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, actually, quad damage I'm using, or I'm frog, I'm using the 920 also, and it rocks. I just bought it for like $45 on Amazon or something like that, brand new. And the one I had before was supposedly HD, but I started noticing it just sucked. And a lot of times on my Windows 10 machine with the USB 3.0, it would just like freeze up randomly. So I was tired of it. So I went ahead and bought this one. Like I said, $45 I think it was. And works great. It's awesome. 1080.
Got mine for 65. Good enough. Yeah, they're pretty good cameras. I think the problem I was having is that I wanted to use it for other things besides voice. They do work great for voice, but there's like a built-in driver with however it works so that it filters everything else except voice. And that's why I said that. I didn't actually mean it does work good for voice, but not for anything else, for audio.
Yeah,
look at the 6 hour chart for a minute.
I don't do 6 hour, but I will do it just for you.
Much appreciated.
Let's see, do my math here. 6 times 60.
I mean, you could do the 4 hour, I guess. I'm just looking at GDEX. They don't have a 4 hour. They have a 6 hour chart.
Oh yeah, I hate that stuff. Yeah, I like real rounded numbers. 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour daily. So yeah, here's the 4 hour.
The trading view for sure. It helped me a lot. I started on GDEX like you did, and it was just not enough info.
Yeah, GDEX's current chart thing is completely crap. I would never recommend anybody use. There's so many other websites out there that have a better chart interface than the GDEX one, because you can't scroll back. You only have like 3 or 4 options of any like decent time frame to use. So yeah, that's horrible. So your question, 4 hour chart, what are we looking at?
Well, I was, yeah, no. So I was, hold on, let me pull up the 4 year chart also.
No problem. So back real quick, the webcam thing, definitely if you're looking to do any kind of live streaming and stuff, try not to use the mic on the camera, even if you get like a cheapy headset. I think I got this one for Christmas. It's the same thing, cheapy, like $50 maybe for a Logitech headset. It's USB with a wire, works great, sounds good. But my voice right now is actually on a standalone actual condenser mic. Is a little more expensive, $99. And then I've got an audio compressor, which is another maybe $150 brand new. I got mine used, $75. And a mixer that you can buy brand new for like $35, $45. And you're set. You're like podcasting and doing YouTubes.
Wow, that sounds like a bit of gear. I got a question. How's my voice?
Sounds real good.
Great.
Yeah, right. I'm just new laptops, and I'm just using the microphone out of the laptop. It's a pretty good one, though.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Good laptop. Who was the one with the shitty laptop?
Yeah, I think that was me, but I think the settings have sorted themselves out.
All right, we got a question on the 4 hour now.
Yeah, is it going up or down?
Hold on just a second. Let me find a coin. I mean, yeah, is it going up or going down? Well, I mean, we've been talking about the super trend, and if we're looking at the chart right in front of me on a 4 hour, are we going up or are we going down?
Down.
If we're going up, put a 1 in the chat box. If we're going down, put a 0 in the chat box. YouTube as well, if you want to participate. Throw a 1 or a 0. 1, we're going up. 0, we're going down based on the chart that we're looking at right now in front of me.
Yeah, it's too big a time frame, isn't it?
So we've got a good mix, but I think right now the downs are probably ahead by 1 or 2 votes. In the overall, like if we fast forwarded, maybe we can rephrase it. We'll look at the responses right now. The 1s and 0s is pretty much even, maybe a little extra on the 0, 1 extra on the 0. Now let's phrase the question a little bit more. From this point, if we fast forward 5 days, are we going to be up or down? 1 for up, 0 for down. 5 days from now. Okay, I was hoping I'd kind of see that. So I think that the difference is in which, if you look back in time, and whenever you use an indicator, you always want to look back and see how it performed in the past so you can kind of get used to how it moves. Sorry, I'm having to mess with keying up the mic as well as trying to move my chart here. And the way the super trend works, I notice it a lot, is when it does flip, it tends to pull back a little bit. So here's an example where we've come down, there's this big red super trend, it pops up, flips the trend, and then what does the price do? Kind of goes sideways, takes a dip. This is very normal. This happens all the time. These aren't some great examples. Let's get on a smaller time frame real quick. So here's a good example. Flip the trend up. What does it do? Come down. Here's an example where it flipped the trend down, and at some point it's kind of bounced up. Same kind of stuff. Green, bounced up, and then it comes back. So for those of you that were saying that it was going to come down on the 4 hour, I can totally agree with that, because if you notice where we're at, it very well could do. Good God, it sucks keying up. I use the control key as one of my mic push to talk. If you look here, it very well could do the same kind of thing. It comes up, flips the trend, kind of pulls back, but overall you guys are saying fast forward 5 days will probably be up here, right? So that's where your smaller time frames come into play. So right now, if I was to look at, say, a 15-minute chart at this area right here, this is the area we were just looking at in the last couple of hours right here. So you can see where we're reacting, where we broke up, flipped the trend, and then we're kind of pulling back a little bit. We very well could go a little bit more. I think this 200 SMA will play some support role, but it very well could dip a little bit. I personally think this is going to hold. We can even go to a 1 hour, which is a little bit only 1 step down from the 4 hour. We can see we've got a good super trend going up here, but we do have the 200 SMA we haven't broken through yet. At the point we break through that, I mean, that would show a lot of support right there. And we have the green super trend going up. And then we got the 4 hour going up. So this would be that question that someone was asking before. Is like, man, I'm in the middle of a trend. How do I know if it's going to keep going up or if it's going to come back down? We're at that decision point right now.
Yeah, this is pretty much exactly the situation that I was asking about, mate.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, right now it's one of those things where, yeah, it's kind of at an in-between. Because when you start writing any kind of like a moving average or a price line support area, you want to be careful because it could go either way. You could either push straight through or you could bounce and fall back down.
So when that happens, what would be a good indicator to actually, okay, yeah, fair enough, it is going up or it is going down, either to sell or buy as it changes direction? What kind of a time frame would you give it? You know, if you're working on a 5 or 15-minute chart.
Let's see if I can understand the question. So like you're saying right now when we're kind of like you're not sure what it could do, it could go up or down. You're saying how do you determine how long do you wait?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Thanks.
I think you gotta determine what makes this an in between. What makes this it could go up or down. To me, just looking at what we see here in front on my chart, the reason why it's kind of in between is because of this 200 SMA, because it's right on it. I mean, we passed through it, but we didn't really push through it. So then we came back down. Now we're back up and we're down. So it's teetering here. The other thing is, like I said, with that horizontal line, if you look in the past in this little area right here, you'll notice that the price likes to hang around in this area. It's done it before. It's kind of bounced around in this zone. So to me, anytime you look back and see any kind of historical, it bounces up and down, or there was a actual bounce like right on that price, you're going to have some decision right here. So I would wait till it finally comes up out of this area. If it breaks down further this way, makes a newer low this way, or it makes a newer high that way, then you kind of know what direction you're going in.
Thanks, mate. That explains it really well. Cheers.
So after it breaks a key resistance point, is that the moment to jump in? That means it's going to continue going up, because the other day I saw the exact opposite. It like went right up to the resistance point, and then instead of continuing through it and going up, it just flipped over.
So that's when I start liking oscillators. So you can notice in this chart right here, if I can zoom in a little bit, we're kind of at that decision point that we're looking at now, where the price is hovering right on the 200 SMA. And so you're kind of like, well, we could go up, we could go down. And then you said, well, I remember that YouTube that Bonavest did, and he drew some funky little rectangle kind of surrounding the highs and lows to make a zone. So let's make a zone. And these candles over here haven't been painted, right? We're just like back here, and we're kind of like, well, we're hitting that 200 SMA. Is it going to go up or down? So we make this funky box. So, good God. So we just kind of know that the price is like up and down here. So we're looking for kind of a breakout to sustain going up or down out of this area right here. So the other thing that you can look at, and it stretches for a long time, is look at oscillators, look at an RSI, look at price stochastics. Price stochastics are down here. RSI is pretty much like what this is right here. And you'll notice, where are we at? Are we at the top or are we at the bottom? Most of these points that are tipping are towards the tops. So it's leaning towards down, but you just don't know. This probably would have been a gotcha. This probably would have been like, great, it broke out, we came down, we're at the bottom of the RSI, the price stochastics is coming down, we're moving down. And you would have been a little early, you get stopped out, you lose a few bucks, and you wait for the next one. And then sure enough, on the next one, hey, we're breaking down, we're starting to come out of the box, the price stochastics are coming down, let's go short. And it went up just a little bit, probably wouldn't have stopped you out, it's only a few bucks away. And then sure enough, the big move came and you would have made some money.
What did I miss?
A couple of bucks and a funky box.
Oh, always fun.
All good stuff, guys. We've been streaming for an hour and 45 minutes. Lots of good times. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, because no one has in 4 years, except for the last couple of days when I've been streaming. So like and subscribe there. We'll probably do this more often, maybe once a day or once every couple of days or something like that, just to have some fun. I think we got up to like 60 people in this channel, so that's pretty good on Whalepool. And of course, the other social media that kind of tends to get spread around is Twitter. So if you want to say hey and mention Bonavest, it kind of pops up in people's feeds and knows I'm alive again. So maybe we can get some more people.
Bonavest,
Sure,
is
thank
it
you
the
so
same
much.
time of day that you're going to be back on tomorrow?
Lately, with all this Bitcoin action, I've been on every day. But I've got this project that I'm kind of behind on that I should be working on right now. But yeah, I think.
Whalepool, what they saying about it, mate?
Yeah, no, I think every day I'll probably pop in here, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, probably not a 2-hour span of time, but yeah. And this channel, I think Flipper's going to keep open, and you guys have mic privileges and stuff like that in here. So I don't know, you may find that you guys just hang out in here to just talk amongst each other. I don't know, but yeah, sounds good.
He's sculpting the Michelangelo's David.
What's the Michelangelo statement?
No, you're sculpting the Michelangelo's David. That's the project you're behind on.
Yeah, exactly. You know me.
Bonus, last question.
Thanks very much, mate.
Thank you, yes. And if I'm trying to, about trading strategies, if I'm trying to raise Bitcoins, not cash, I'm trying to get more Bitcoins as much as possible. I don't care about how much it costs. Should I be staying in Bitcoin as much as possible and looking for cash entries?
If you're talking long term, which it sounds like you are, just stick to the daily chart and buy when it's really low and hold on to it as it's climbing. And we've mentioned this a little while ago. We looked at a 200 SMA on a daily chart and just hold. I mean, when price crosses the 200 SMA on the daily going to the upside, just hold the Bitcoin. Buy as much Bitcoin as you can as it goes up. When it totally goes vertical, and people are just like, oh, it's freaking awesome, and the news reports are on the media, CNN and all this stuff start talking about Bitcoin being, thousands of % higher than it ever was, start to scale back. Because that's usually when it all starts to come down. And expect it to come down. Expect it to do that, because you'll get chopped up messing around with trading after an all-time high. Just realize after an all-time high, it's going to come down at some point. So pick a good profit level that you're happy with, that if you went and told your friends you made 200% last month, if that's what's going to make you happy and you're comfortable with, go ahead and sell out. If it goes a little bit higher, no big deal. It's so freaking high and you've already made 200% on your money in 30 days. Call it good. Maybe take out half of it. Take out 3/4 of it. Take some money, take some profit off the table. You've done good. And then just wait for it to fall down and buy some more.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Realize what you've done though, right? You've taught a lot of newbies how to use the mic, so now everyone's gonna be requesting mic privileges in the other room.
Dude, I'm wrecking Whalepool. Well, they're gonna ban me because I did the same shit with the damn soundboards and I got my mic taken away. I logged in yesterday. I think it was yesterday morning. I logged in and I didn't have mic privileges. I was like, dang it, the freaking soundboard thing. And they probably banned me because of that. So now it's going to be the same thing with mics.
That's right. It's just enthusiasm.
It's okay. You can come hang out here instead.
Yeah, exactly. Just come to the new room. You want to talk? Get in the new room. You can talk all you want.
It's going to be the new Cool Kids Club.
There you go.
So just to wrap up, we're still definitely in a bear market, right? We're not bullish yet.
I call market, like if people are saying it's a bear, it's a bull market, you better be looking at the daily at least, daily or weekly. But I wouldn't be looking at 5, 15 minutes saying, oh, we're in a bear market, we're in a bull market. It's like, no, look at the daily and kind of decide on price action with the daily. Are we in a bear or bull market? Even the 4-hour would be the tightest.
Below that the SMA line, right?
Yeah, the daily we're bouncing on it. So to me, that's my signal that, hey, we've hit it. If you look back in history, there's literally like in the last 5 years, like twice that it ever like went through the 200 SMA on the daily. So we've already done that. We stabbed into it, which it's done a couple times before. Every time it ever stabs into it or it bounces right above the 200 SMA, that was the bottom. So we're in territory that, like that other guy talking about long term and he wants to buy spot or whatever, now's the time to be buying Bitcoin and just holding on to it. You could get a better price, sure, okay. You could buy it, maybe we go down to 6,000, but the point is right now at 8,000, when we just came from 20,000 like 2 months ago, now's a good price. Bitcoin is cheap right now. Buy it. Long haul, long term spot.
But also, if you want to increase your daily, if you want to increase your position in Bitcoin, you can increase it on daily. Like I said, we're talking about like when it drops on daily basis, that's when you buy. When it goes up in mainstream media and everybody hypes up about it, goes to 8,500, then you sell a percentage of it. Then when it drops at night, sell some and rebuy again. Increase your percentage of Bitcoin, and don't care about how much it's going to be worth, because care about long term. Think about year end point.
Yes, exactly. Do you have to have like a switch of mentality about it, like reverse psychology almost?
In a way, because when everybody buys, then it goes up in value, and that's when you sell. Because you don't want to be buying when everybody is, and because it's going to be at an all-time high then.
Thank you.
Because when it's in the mainstream media, then it's too late. Because when it's on CNN or NBC and everyone says, "Oh, like Bitcoin is bouncing back," it's time for you to start rethinking about reinvesting in Bitcoin. When you think about those companies running the ads and YouTube channels, kind of thinking, "Oh, it's like, oh, like this is my daily Bitcoin advice." No, it's too late at that point in time. Everybody already made their money and the money in it.
The guy talking about building his Bitcoin portfolio by selling and buying back. I've noticed that at specific times that you're right, mate, that you can just sell off what you've got and go to bed. Well, I live in the UK, but in the different time zones, go to bed, wake up, and your buy order's filled, and it's already started to go up again. You know, so yeah, I agree with you on that one, mate.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing in the past few days. Kind of like $300 margins. And that increases at 0.001 or 0.002, or even if you have bigger trades, depending on how you do it, it can start increasing it. And even during the day, a couple hours span can increase it. And once again, don't care about what it is, but it just increases your Bitcoin portfolio.
I think also, though, I wouldn't put everything into Bitcoin. At least I don't. I learned the hard way is when it crashes, you need to have fiat to buy more on the dips. And so if you're just cashing in all your profits back into more Bitcoin, and it has a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 drop, then you're not going to have any fiat on the side to buy in on those dips where you can really make a big difference. So that's what I do. I mean, I do both. I roll it back into Bitcoin, but then also I take cash out on the side, because when we had that correction back in December, I had everything in Bitcoin and alts, and I didn't have anything to buy. So now, then this latest dip, I was ready. So I'd make sure I take some out into fiat. That's what I learned to do.
No, I agree. Because if you look at anybody on eToro market, I don't know if you guys know eToro, but if you look at all the top investors out there and you look at their portfolios there, their crypto portfolio aspect of it is about between 5 and 10% of their total portfolio. It's either stocks or commodities or whatever else they're trading. Their crypto is only about 5 to 10%. So, I mean, if you're thinking about short-term profit, yes, crypto is good for that. But if you're thinking about long-term gains, don't invest everything into crypto. Someone just fell down. I had a stroke.
Anyone looking at the 6-hour chart on GDEX?
Hold on.
I'm looking at the 5 and the 15-minute one, and I can't tell. It looks like it's trying to take off, but
look at the 6-hour chart on GDEX.
Is it gonna depress me?
I don't know. I'm complete noob. I'm trying to get your perspective on what do you think it's showing. I think it's looking like it's gonna turn back down.
It does look like that, mate. I think if you look on the smaller time frames, it does look like it's the way to try and take off again. But yeah, I think it's a trap, mate. To be honest with you.
Because the resistance was very formidable. It wasn't breaking through. It would go past maybe 82, 83, but it wouldn't go past 85, 86. It was really tough.
Yeah, I think you were lucky if you sold at 86 today.
So then it's going to go down, but then if you look at the daily chart, right, it's showing that it's going to go up.
Look at the overlays. Overlays show that has potential of going up, but it's not going to go up much.
On the daily or on the 6 hour?
I'm looking at the 6 hour.
Yeah, the
It's
6
quite
hour.
annoying to try and figure out when it's had good momentum today, you know. So it's had a little bit of a pullback, and every single one of the guys on every channel I've listened to have said buy the dip. And to me, this looks like a significant dip to buy, but you just don't know, you know.
I can see it going under 8K today. But last night I hit my sell at 85.50. Hold on, let me double check. I'm sorry, 85.10, and that's what I woke up and that's what it sold at. So I was happy with that.
Is anybody trading Bitcoin Cash?
Oh my god, I'm so mad about that. It's been doing so good today.
By the way, guys, just a quick disclaimer. Since I was streaming it when I was talking, I'm gonna leave it streaming for a little while in this channel. So if you guys are discussing anything, I don't know, do you think it's a bad thing? Do you want me to stop the stream? What do you guys think?
Can we talk about nude girls?
Okay, maybe I will stop the stream. I forgot who's in here. This is Whale Pool. You guys are gonna talk about trannies and what is the other thing? Lady boys and stuff. Yeah, I better stop the stream. Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the stream, but you guys feel free to have fun here in the channel. I'm out.
Peace. Thank you so much.
Man.
No, but seriously, I'm mad.